let's take a look at our top selections for Dan Illman, Mike Beard taking a look at the co-feature on a stakes-laden Saturday afternoon card at Laurel Park. Let's throw up the field for race number 8. The Grade 3 General George. We're going 7/8 of a mile, 4-year-olds and up. These are some good sprinters, and Funny Guy down from New York for the excellent trainer John Terranova. This horse has never beaten Open Company, Mike, but he ran real well in the Vosburg 4 starts back, went second to Firenze Fire as the favorite. He's just a hard-hitting New York bred that seems to show up just about every time.
Yeah, it really does. And he's run some fast races too. I don't really have any argument with him being the favorite in here, Dan, but this just sort of feels like one of those very well-matched fields where a lot of horses can win.
Interesting from a pace standpoint as well. We're going to throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Arthur's Hope, the number 8, occasionally, especially if the track is wet, can run some fast races, and he is a speed type. Lebda, I think, is going to appreciate getting out to 7 furlongs. He has speed. Where is Share the Ride speed gone in his last few starts, though? He used to be quick. On his day, he can be right up close.
He could be. They've really concentrated on rating him, it feels like, in some of his races. Maybe they'll do that again here, Dan, but he certainly has speed to be forward. I think Arthur's Hope, the 8, I think that's his best game, getting out on the early lead. So I feel like they should probably send that horse.
One of the most popular horses on the circuit is the number 1 Lakai, going out for Damon Dilladovico, who's handled this horse masterfully throughout his 31 race campaign. He won the De Francis Memorial Dash, a graded stakes race at Pimlico in October, beaten favorite in his last 3. Now, I don't think the short comment really tells the story of the last race. It said heels clipped early. His back heels were clipped by a trailing horse. It didn't seem to affect him that much. He just seemed a little bit flat that day.
Yeah, I didn't think he ran well last time. I thought that was a very disappointing performance from a horse who, for the most part, it feels like he shows up every time, Dan. Listen, you mentioned he got that De Francis win back in October by a nose. He surrounded that race with 6 straight losses as the favorite. That worries me about him, especially when you take that fire plug into account. But obviously, on his best day, he can beat this field.
Much improved workout, however, for this Bullet and 46 and change. Maybe we'll see a sharper Lakai who can break well and be closer to the pace if need be. Funny Guy is the number 2. He's your morning line favorite. Let's go back to his most recent race. He was 4-5 in the Safe Florida Sandy against fellow New York breds, and he's kind of get beaten on the square, isn't he? He's on the outside right now. He's going to get tired in the stretch. I talked to Terranova. He said Funny Guy's just a big, heavy horse, didn't seem to handle this sandy surface as well as he usually does.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. This just wasn't his best race, Dan, whether there was a real excuse for it or not. He did look like he struggled in this race. You could see him go to his wrong lead there, getting tired. I guess the flip side of that is the horse that ran him down in there is a very underrated horse who was sharp throughout 2020. So it's not, that big a deal, in my opinion, to lose to Our Last Buck. But Funny Guy didn't run his best race there. 2 starts back at Aqueduct over that same track, I thought he ran great that day, Dan. Overcame a slow pace with a 98 buyer speed figure.
Oh, that was a really nice effort. He was down inside. He had to angle very wide in the stretch, and he ran down a good speed horse in My Boy Tate, who was loose. Bankett, the 3rd place finisher, came back to earn a big buyer speed figure when upsetting Mr. Buff. So that's a good form line. Lebda, the number 3, at this time last year, was one of the top 3-year-olds on the grounds. He won the Miracle Wood. He won the Private Terms. These connections got very aggressive, running him in the Ohio Derby and the Haskell and eventually the Chick Lang. Now, he was gelded prior to the layoff. He came back on December the 26th, a little bit short, I thought, in the Dave's Friend, a little bit better last time in the Fire Plug. I think this horse is going to find 7 a little bit more to his liking, Mike. I think 6 is a little sharp for him. He can be close to the pace.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he can be close to the pace, and now he's 3rd off with a layoff. I mean, I think there are ways to look at this horse and feel like he's pretty good value at his morning line price. We'll see how well he runs. I think the only thing that really held me back about him, Dan, is I don't like the Fire Plug that much as a race overall. Maybe it doesn't matter in Lebda's case, because I feel like he's supposed to run better in here. But that running line doesn't thrill me for any of the horses coming out of that race.
Majestic Dunhill is a one-run closer that would benefit from a fast and contested pace, especially if the track is wet. He's always done well going 7/8 at Laurel. He won the City of Laurel here as a 3-year-old. He was second in the General George that season as well. Majestic Dunhill, though, seems to do his best running on a wet track, and he needs some pace.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does here, because obviously his last two running lines are not good. He had an excuse in the Fall Highway 2 back because he just was not prepared for the start when they opened it. He had his head turned. He wound up way back off the pace and then didn't run after that. I didn't want to be too hard on him for that running line. The interesting thing about him, Dan, is his races 3 and 4 back at Belmont over this distance, he showed surprising tactical speed in those races. And if he can, do that in here and keep himself within range of the pace, this is a horse who could bounce back in a big way here.
Likely overmatched behind Sleepy Eyes Todd last time out at Gulfstream. Sleepy Eyes Todd likely for the Saudi Cup. That was a race that the 8th place finisher came back and won the Sunshine Classic with a 103 Beyer speed figure. Fortunate Friends is the number 5. Let's go back to his last race. He was claimed out of this race, $35,000 optional back in December. Fortunate Friends got up close. He was really aggressively ridden on the far turn to clear off to the lead. He faces pressure, and he is very game to not only put this horse back, but keep right on going to hold off a rail skimmer.
Yeah, he did turn away that first challenge there. A horse who looked like he got his head in front of him there, but he put that horse away. He's going to hold on to the end. Pretty game performance here. The race didn't come back fast, but he has run faster races in the past, Dan. We'll see what kind of trip he can get. He feels like a horse who wants to be part of the pace.
Share the Ride earned 3 triple-digit Beyer speed figures last year. He is a graded stakes winner. He won the Fall Highway 3 starts back, and they've been doing a lot of racing with him lately. This is his 3rd start in about a month. Now, he ran in the Fire Plug, the race where he finished ahead of Lebda a few of these, and he raced with a bar shoe that day. It looked like he was home free, but he was run down by Wendell Fong. Now, the bar shoe came off in this race, the toboggan at Aqueduct, and again, he was just a little bit further back than we've grown accustomed to seeing him, and there wasn't a lot of pace for him to run at.
Yeah, his speed seems to have left him. I felt like they were rating him for some of those races, and this one, it just feels like he didn't have it. The horse that winds up winning the race, American Power, is a horse who's in very good form right now for Rob Atras, and Share the Ride just can't really make his way into it at the end. It feels like, to me, Dan, maybe his form is tailing off a little bit. We'll see if he can bounce back here. As you mentioned, they're doing a lot of racing with this horse.
The 7, Informative, another horse that seems to prefer a wet track, sort of in the vein of an Arthur's Hope or a Majestic Dunhill. He's 0 for 16 on fast dirt. I've always liked this horse. He just really hasn't panned out for Uriah St. Louis. Stakes place going 6 on this service, but is probably going to need a career best.
Yeah, just never broken through with that fast race yet. He's going to need a big pace in front of him here.
Arthur's Hope's not the kind of horse to change leads, but he did beat Lakai at Laurel, going 7/8 of a mile on July the 25th when he got a great ride by Ruiz that day. I mean, he was able just to clear off to an easy lead. Lakai kind of handed it to him, and Arthur's Hope was able to hold on. Alcibiades Cortez is one of the better front-running riders on the circuit. You have a feeling he's sending Arthur's Hope.
Yeah, it just feels like that's this horse's best game, Dan. It feels all of his good races basically are when they send him from the gate and he's able to make his way to the lead. If he makes the lead here, he's a dangerous horse. He's got some fast races in his past.
Here's Chilean Charge, the number 9, winning at Parks last time out, going 7/8 of a mile over a muddy track. And Chilean Charge had some work to do as we turn into the stretch. He's being altered into the clear on the outside. It is a very wet track. He kind of storms down the center of the track, Mike. I mean, I thought he won this race very easily. 89 Beyer speed figure. He's now won 2 out of his last 3, and the only loss in that scheme was going a 1-turn mile that might be a little far. I think he's a bit underrated.
Yeah, me too. And that 1-turn mile at Aqueduct 2 back then, it's also worth mentioning that was a day where speed was very good at Aqueduct, and this horse was off the pace. He didn't really have a fair chance that day. I liked that win that we just saw from him on a wet track. I liked his win 3 starts back as well, where he had to make a wide run in that race, and he carried it on to get up. This horse is in sneaky good form right now.
If you like wild finishes, check out the Jennings at Laurel on January the 16th. It was won by Tattooed over a couple of next style winners. There was a big pace on in here, and Tattooed got a great ride from Angel Cruz. Let's turn into the stretch, and Tattooed is in behind horses. He's searching for somewhere to run. He wants to get to the outside. Well, he just got stymied. Now he's going to alter course in between horses. There's a seam, and now Tattooed is going to come with a good run. Trainer Tim Keefe told me a couple of weeks ago, this horse only has a quarter of a mile burst. So it'll be interesting to see turning back to 7 if he doesn't get completely outrun early.
Yeah, he can't get too far away, I don't think, and then he's going to need a pretty big pace here. That was a terrific ride there from Angel Cruz. I don't think he got necessarily where he wanted to get, Dan, but he just kept finding all the gaps late, and he got there at the end.
He got to the winner's circle at the end. Let's take a look at the Grade 3 General George Stakes selections. Mike, you're going with Chilean Charge. A lot of upside potential, and I think you can look at some of his losses. You mentioned the bias track going a mile. Then you got a turf race 4 starts back, and then you got a layoff. This might be simply a new horse getting good at the right time. I'm a fan of Leb to the number 3, and just look how competitive this General George Stakes is. 8 different picks. Let's see, Arthur's Hope is going to show some big speed. Maybe he just wins it all or Tattooed, but you're going with Chilean Charge at a price.
Yeah, I think he's in sneaky good form, Dan. He has that race too back at the end of 2019 on this track, 7 furlongs in the city of Laurel. He ran really well that day too to just miss. I feel like he handles this racetrack, but he doesn't need the lead. He can get any kind of a trip. I think there's a lot to like about this horse at a price.
I really respect Funny Guy. I don't want him to be too short of a price. I think that's really the main knock against Funny Guy in this race is he's going to take a lot of money. He's such a classy horse. I like the trip that Leb is projected to get. I want to sit off of Arthur's Hope. I think that getting back to 7 furlongs in his 3rd start back can move this horse forward. 3-1-6-9 for me, 9-2-4-8 for Mike. Grade 3 General George on a really nice Saturday card at Laurel. Good luck.